Jessica the Demon Girl vs. Pastor Samuel Season 1. The Girl from Ash Valley Scene 1. The Arrival EXT. Ash Valley Village. To evening rain poured heavily over the isolated village of Ash Valley. People rushed indoors before sunset. Nobody stayed outside after dark. Because every night, someone disappeared. A rusty bus stopped near the village gate. A tall man stepped down carrying a Bible and an old leather bag. This was Pastor Samuel. Fearless, calm, spiritual. An old woman grabbed his arm immediately. "Leave this place before night comes," she whispered. Pastor Samuel smiled gently. "God did not send me here to run." Thunder exploded across the sky. Far away on a hill, a pale girl watched him silently. Her eyes glowed red. Her name was Jessica, and the demons inside her had been waiting. Scene 2. The Cursed House Int. Abandoned church house. Tonight Pastor Samuel stayed inside an old broken church building. The walls were covered in strange symbols. At midnight, scratching sounds echoed across the roof. Then came a girl's voice. Soft, cold. Pastor Samuel. He slowly opened his eyes. The lantern suddenly went out. Darkness swallowed the room. Then Jessica appeared standing in the corner. Barefoot, white dress stained with mud. "You should not have come here," she said. Pastor Samuel stood calmly. "In the name of Jesus, who are you?" Jessica smiled. Then her neck twisted unnaturally. "I am not alone." Suddenly the walls began shaking violently. Dark shadows crawled across the ceiling. But Pastor Samuel raised his Bible. A bright golden light burst through the room. Jessica screamed and vanished into smoke. Scene 3. The Village Secret EXT. Market Square. To morning the villagers gathered around Pastor Samuel. One man finally spoke. Jessica was once a normal girl. Years ago, Jessica disappeared in the Forbidden Forest. 3 days later, she returned different. People began dying. Animals were born deformed. Children heard voices at night. Then Jessica's own parents vanished. Nobody ever found their bodies. An old chief pointed toward the mountain. "There is something ancient buried beneath that forest." Pastor Samuel looked toward the dark mountain. Then he said, "That girl is not the true enemy." Scene 4. Jessica's Nightmare Int. Dark Spirit Realm. Tonight Jessica wandered through endless darkness. Chains dragged behind her. Deep voices whispered around her. "You belong to us." Suddenly a monstrous shadow appeared behind her. Massive horns, burning eyes. This was Malzar, the Demon King controlling Ash Valley. "You failed to kill the pastor," Malzar growled. Jessica trembled. For a moment, a human tear rolled down her face. "I don't want to hurt anyone anymore," Malzar roared in anger. Black energy exploded from his body. "You are ours forever," Jessica screamed as darkness covered her completely. Scene 5. The First Attack EXT. Ash Valley. To midnight the village dogs barked wildly. Windows shattered by themselves. People screamed. Jessica walked slowly through the streets surrounded by shadows. Her eyes burned bright red. Every step killed the grass beneath her feet. Demons crawled across rooftops. Pastor Samuel came outside holding a glowing cross. "Jessica," he shouted. She stopped. For 1 second, her eyes became normal again. "Help me," she whispered weakly. But suddenly Malzar's voice thundered from inside her body. "She belongs to me." Dark energy blasted toward the pastor. The ground exploded. Villagers ran in terror. Pastor Samuel stood firm. Then he declared loudly, "The light of God is greater than darkness." A wave of golden fire burst outward. The demons screamed and disappeared into smoke. Jessica collapsed unconscious. Scene 6. The Hidden Truth Int. Old library. Today Pastor Samuel searched through ancient books. Then he found an old hidden journal. Inside was a terrifying truth. Over 200 years ago, a demon king was sealed beneath Ash Valley by powerful prayer warriors. But the seal required a human vessel. Every generation, one child became the prison. Jessica was the newest vessel. Pastor Samuel closed the book slowly. She was never the monster. Suddenly the room door slammed shut by itself. A deep voice whispered, "Then save her, if you can." Scene 7. The exorcism int. Old church tonight. Villagers gathered inside praying fearfully. Jessica was tied gently to a chair. Dark veins spread across her skin. The candles turned black. Pastor Samuel began praying loudly. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ, Jessica suddenly levitated into the air. The church windows exploded outward. People screamed. Malza spoke through her voice, "You cannot separate us." The demon's shadow rose behind her like a giant beast. Pastor Samuel continued praying without fear. Golden light filled the church. Jessica cried painfully, "Please, don't let him take me again." Suddenly, the church roof cracked open. A massive dark hand emerged from the sky. Malza was coming into the human world. Scene 8, The Final Battle EXT. Ash Valley Church tonight. Lightning covered the sky. Demons surrounded the village. Villagers prayed desperately. Pastor Samuel stood before Jessica as darkness swallowed the church. Malza's giant form slowly appeared above them. "I will destroy this world." Jessica fell to the ground crying. Then Pastor Samuel held her hand. "You still have a choice." For the first time in years, Jessica looked human again. She stood slowly. Then she faced Malza. "No." Darkness shook violently. "I am not your slave." Jessica released a massive burst of light. Malza screamed in fury. Pastor Samuel raised the cross high into the storm. Together, they unleashed a blinding explosion of holy light. The Demon King shattered into ash. Silence filled the valley. The storm stopped. Jessica collapsed weakly. Her eyes finally returned to normal. Scene 9, A New Beginning EXT. Ash Valley to sunrise for the first time in years. Sunlight touched the village peacefully. Children laughed again. The curse was broken. Jessica stood quietly beside Pastor Samuel. "Do you think God can forgive someone like me?" she asked softly. Pastor Samuel smiled. "Grace is for everyone." Jessica looked toward the rising sun. And for the first time, she smiled. End of Season 1. Season 2 teaser. Deep beneath the destroyed mountain, something opened its eyes. A voice whispered from the darkness, "Malza was only the servant." Jessica the Demon Girl vs. Pastor Samuel. Season 2, The Dark Gate 20. Scene 1, The Strange Dream. Jessica dreams of a giant black gate underground. Millions of voices whisper her name. A glowing creature warns her, "The seal is breaking." She wakes up screaming. Scene 2, The New Peace. Ash Valley becomes peaceful again. Villagers rebuild homes. Pastor Samuel opens a new church. Jessica helps children and the sick. But some villagers still fear her. Scene 3, The Blood Moon. A red moon appears suddenly. Animals begin acting strangely. The ground shakes beneath the village. Jessica feels darkness calling her again. Scene 4, The Shadow Preacher. A mysterious preacher named Father Lucian arrives. He performs miracles publicly. People admire him instantly. But Pastor Samuel senses evil around him. Scene 5, The Secret Symbol. Jessica discovers the same demonic symbol from her past carved beneath the church floor. Then blood begins leaking from the walls. Scene 6, The Disappearing Children. 3 children vanish overnight. Witnesses say shadow creatures carried them into the forest. Jessica blames herself. Scene 7, The Forbidden Tunnel. Pastor Samuel and Jessica discover ancient tunnels beneath Ash Valley. Deep underground, they hear children crying. Scene 8, The Monster Below. Huge demon creatures attack inside the tunnel. Pastor Samuel fights them using prayer. Jessica unleashes mysterious dark powers accidentally. Samuel becomes worried. Scene 9, The Lost Children. The missing children are found alive inside underground cages. But their eyes glow black. Something has possessed them. Scene 10, Father Lucien's secret. Pastor Samuel secretly follows Father Lucian. Inside a hidden cave, Lucian kneels before a giant dark gate. "You will rise again," he whispers. Scene 11, Jessica's power grows. Jessica begins hearing demonic voices again. Objects move around her uncontrollably. Mirrors crack when she walks past. Scene 12, The Possessed Villages. Several villages suddenly become violent. They attack the church screaming, "Open the gate." Scene 13, The Ancient Book. Samuel finds an ancient book explaining the truth. The dark gate beneath Ash Valley is not a prison. It is a doorway, and something far worse than Malza waits behind it. Scene 14. Betrayal. Father Lucian reveals his true identity. He was leader of a secret cult all along. He kidnaps Jessica. Scene 15. The dark ritual inside underground ruins. The cult begins a ritual. Jessica is chained above the dark gate. The gate slowly begins opening. Black smoke fills the sky. Scene 16. The fall of Ash Valley. Demons flood into the village. Buildings burn. People run screaming through the streets. Pastor Samuel leads survivors into the church. Scene 17. The angelic visitor. During prayer, a bright angelic being appears before Samuel. You cannot defeat what is coming alone. The being gives Samuel a glowing sword of light. Scene 18. Jessica vs. Lucian. Jessica breaks free from her chains. She battles Father Lucian using both light and dark powers. The underground temple collapses around them. Scene 19. The open gate. The giant dark gate finally opens. A terrifying eye appears inside the darkness. A deep voice shakes the earth. IAMZARETH. Scene 20. The end of the world. A gigantic shadow begins rising from the gate. The sky turns completely black. Pastor Samuel stands with the glowing sword while Jessica prepares to fight beside him. Then, to be continued. Jessica the Demon Girl vs. Pastor Samuel. Season 3. The Rise of Zareth. 30. Scene 1. The Shadow King Zareth emerges partially from the gate. His body is made of darkness and fire. Entire buildings collapse from his presence. Scene 2. The fallen sky. The sun disappears for days. Creatures roam the streets at night. Ash Valley becomes a nightmare. Scene 3. The survivors. Pastor Samuel leads survivors into underground shelters. Food and hope begin running out. Scene 4. Jessica's vision. Jessica sees a hidden mountain temple in a vision. A weapon capable of killing Zareth waits there. Scene 5. The hunters. Zareth releases demon hunters to find Jessica. The creatures can smell spiritual energy. Scene 6. Escape through fire. Samuel, Jessica, and survivors escape while demons burn the village behind them. Scene 7. The cursed river. The group crosses a river filled with possessed dead bodies. Something beneath the water attacks them. Scene 8. The lost priest. They meet Father Benedict, an old priest who once fought dark spirits decades ago. Scene 9. The holy map. Father Benedict reveals a hidden map leading to the mountain temple. Scene 10. ZARETH's army. Millions of shadow creatures gather across the land. Cities begin falling one after another. Scene 11. Jessica's inner war. Jessica struggles against the darkness inside her. Sometimes her eyes still glow red. Scene 12. The betrayer. One survivor secretly works for Zareth. He sabotages the group's escape. Scene 13. Night of Death. Demons attack the camp at midnight. Many survivors die. Scene 14. The Light Cave. Jessica discovers glowing crystals inside a sacred cave. The crystals weaken demonic energy. Scene 15. The Hidden Temple. The group finally reaches the mountain temple. Ancient warriors are carved into the walls. Scene 16. The Guardian Spirit. A giant spiritual guardian tests Jessica and Samuel. Only the pure-hearted may continue. Scene 17. The sacred weapon. Jessica receives the Blade of Heaven, a weapon made from holy fire. Scene 18. ZARETH speaks. Zareth appears in the sky above the world. Your God has abandoned you. Fear spreads everywhere. Scene 19. The broken faith. Some survivors lose hope and leave the group. Pastor Samuel continues praying. Scene 20. Return to Ash Valley. Samuel and Jessica return to the destroyed village. Everything is covered in darkness. Scene 21. The Dead Army. Zareth raises dead villagers as shadow soldiers. Jessica cries seeing familiar faces. Scene 22. The final plan. Samuel learns the gate can only be sealed from inside. Someone must enter willingly. Scene 23. The last sermon. Pastor Samuel gives a powerful message of hope to the survivors before battle. Scene 24. The war begins. Humans and demons clash across Ash Valley. Fire fills the sky. Scene 25. Jessica vs. Zareth. Jessica attacks Zareth using the Blade of Heaven. The battle shakes mountains. Scene 26. Samuel's sacrifice. Pastor Samuel enters the dark gate carrying the glowing sword. The gate begins collapsing. Scene 27. The dark world. Inside the gate, Samuel sees an endless kingdom of chained souls. Dark creatures chase him. Scene 28. The true light. Jessica unlocks her full spiritual power. Golden wings of light appear behind her. Scene 29. The end of Zareth. Jessica pierces Zareth's heart with the Blade of Heaven. Zareth explodes into divine fire. The dark army disappears instantly. Scene 30. The final goodbye. The gate closes forever. Pastor Samuel barely escapes before it seals. Ash Valley is finally free. Jessica stands beside Samuel watching the sunrise. But far away in deep darkness, two red eyes suddenly open.